Hello, beautiful Pisces people. Welcome to my channel, The Intuitive Teacup. So happy to have all the Pisces in the house with me here today. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, however you associate with Pisces. Cross watchers, what's up? I see you. You're welcome. You're welcome here. Everyone is welcome at The Intuitive Teacup. All right, we are going to do your February general readings here, your general tarot readings. As always here on YouTube, not every message will be yours. It is up to you to come into this reading with an open heart and an open mind. Ultimately, take away only the messages that resonate with you, that empower you, that inspire you, motivate you, offer you some confirmation that you needed to hear. That's my goal here today. I hope lots and lots of this does resonate with you. Pieces and parts of it very likely will. My beautiful Pisces gang, what else do you need to know? Everything else is written in the description box for you. That's going to include the decks I'm using here today, as well as my social media channels. I am The Intuitive Teacup on Facebook and Instagram, as well as .com. Check out my website if you're interested. I'm theintuitiveteacup.com. If you want to learn more about me, about my tarot journey. Give these messages time to resonate. Not everything is going to make sense to you right here and right now. So yeah, in a few hours, in a few days, and even in a few weeks, something may strike a chord and then you can take it and run with it. That means it was your message. Don't put yourself under all the pressure to make everything make sense right here and right now. All right, that's kind of my spiel. Just bear with me here. I got a few more decks to shuffle through. Advance a minute or so if you want to get right to it. For Pisces, February 2020 roughly is the timeline for these messages. Messages for their best and highest good. All right, last deck. Pisces, my Pisces gang. Pisces. February 2020 for Pisces. All right, we're going to kick it off with this card. Your energy, Pisces. Pisceans. There we go. All right, cool. Let's hop in. Empress, love it. Who's working on their career? Who's having babies? All right, let's see. You have the Empress. You have Three of Swords. Interesting. 9 of Wands and the 4 of Cups. All right, so let me digest this real quick. Some sort of business or business endeavor or something in your career that you were hoping would grow and something you could capitalize on. It caused you some sort of disappointment. And I'm reading for your energy now. So for most of you, this is probably in the works or have already happened. But it actually was divinely guided because you were meant to course correct. It may have to do with working with a group of 3 people. There was something about it that wasn't going to work out for you. And so what I'm getting is essentially something didn't work out. And it doesn't feel like tragic. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, my life is over. But it was like an unforeseen roadblock or obstacle. And what you're not understanding is that you were actually meant to push through without the excess baggage. That sounds kind of harsh, but it's actually something you're meant to do alone, because it could even be something about like you guys didn't share the same values or ethics or ideas on something. Maybe the way in which you wanted to grow this business or the direction you wanted to go with this project. There was a lot of, it could have been ego or just, I'm getting sort of either combative energy, but that's a little too harsh. Disagreements and a standstill. It's like you guys couldn't make progress on something because those, like the meeting of the minds, no one was ever on the same page. And there was a lot of like, just her energy here. It's very just like, well, shit, what are we going to do? Like, sorry, I just shook the table, but it's like, this is a cup of being like emotionally bored. Sometimes it can be, what is the word? It's a safety zone of emotions, right? Because it's cups, but it's understanding that the cups that once brought you joy and fulfillment, the 3, right? I am very much getting like 3 people, a part of a team. It's like they've become bored. Complacent is the word I'm looking for. It's like what maybe started off as like this magic spark of an idea. It's like the more you had to work through it and try and get something out of it, like get the seed to grow, it kind of ended up being lackluster. That's a great term for this. It doesn't feel like you guys are at each other's throats. It doesn't feel like you guys are fighting and it's vicious. It just kind of seems like you guys have come to the realization that this team dynamic, it's just really not getting you anywhere, and it is causing some sort of disrupt in like the harmony of the group. And again, it either started as this and could potentially go back to that, but what's going to like restore the friendship, and again, like the happy energy, the celebrating, the fun on the team or in the relationship or whatever it is is you going after searching, I heard. You going after something alone. And I'm going to clarify it because there is something very clandestine about this. It's like she's leaving the castle at night to go do this thing, but it feels very secretive. That might not be a bad thing. I would just caution you that if this is a group of people that you love very much and maybe you are, in a sense, there is a little bit of competition between you. Again, I will clarify this, but make sure you're not taking someone else's ideas and slapping your name on it and calling it your own, because that I can already tell you is not going to work out for you. It does feel like you are supposed to erect this structure, build this business, go after this endeavor, this thing on your own, but there is contemplation on where to move your chess piece, and I do think it has to do with this, how to tell these people, and maybe this could also mean that you having to tell them that my heart is no longer in this project, in this relationship, in whatever it is. It might be that you wish you could take the easy way out and like sneak off, ghost them, right? Some of you don't do that. That's mean. Don't ghost your person. It's because you want to avoid the heartbreak that this could cause. Particularly if you're dealing with a Taurus or a Libra, they're very sensitive and you don't want to, and you are too, Pisces, generally speaking, being a water sign, you feel things very deeply, very emotionally. Could also be a Cancer you're dealing with. But yeah, there's something about when you set yourself free from this, there's actually great joy that ensues. Yeah, a lot more joy. In fact, you may find a different business partner or just a different partner in general, particularly in Aries. It could also be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. You do have another card of Taurus. So Taurus plays some sort of role in this. Some of you may have a mother who is a Taurus or a very like maternal, nurturing energy. Someone who has either great Cancer or Taurus in their chart plays some sort of role in this. And maybe you're literally moving away from your mother to go pursue some job and you know, it's pulling at your heartstrings because you love them, but you want to pursue your dreams and, you know, go off with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your soulmate, you know, build this business from the ground up, right? Very much building upward. These are both really bomb cards in terms of building a career. Yeah, double cards of Aries and Taurus, and again, Cancer is presenting really strong here. So let's clarify this. This kind of, it's not necessarily bad, but I mean, just look at it. There's an element of sneaking around to it. So for some of you, it's trying to get out of a marriage. Oh, Pisces, what are you doing? All right, so King of Wands. Going towards what you're passionate about. Some of you are absolutely headed into a relationship with a fire sign to leave an earth sign behind, particularly a Taurus. Yeah, there is definitely something a little bit sexual here for some of you. Sexual escapades, I just heard. Yeah, so I guess do the right thing, right? And yes, that's very vague, but the details of this relationship, I don't know. I'm getting like a very generalized message. Whatever you're doing now, there's some emotionally void. It's like emotionally void. You've tapped the well. You've run out of that running water, that fresh resource that keeps you happy, that keeps you growing, right? And so I think some of you are venturing off career-wise into something that lights your fire, that gets you excited. Again, King of Wands is a great card, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's work hard, play hard. It's wanting to enjoy the work you do, but also Wands being our careers, our energy, our endeavors, our hard work. Yeah, work hard, play hard, very much so. But I'm using that to clarify kind of like the Nine of Wands sneaking energy. This can also be a card of like the quote wounded warrior. And so again, for a lot of you, it's not wanting to rock the boat with someone who, again, they're just not filling your cup anymore. You don't want to wound them, and so I wound or hurt them. And so I think you guys are like fleeing. It's an avoidance of a heavy conversation that has to be had. That's sort of what I'm thinking. Could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Clarify this Nine of Wands. Is this sneaky energy? Is this good energy? And it could just be a surprise. You know, could be throwing a surprise for someone. That's too many cards. I can't take like 6. In fact, I'm going to switch decks because I'm being called to. With absolute clarity, what is the major message with this Nine of Wands for Pisces? With absolute clarity. Doesn't want to come out. Something about the maze of your mind, a labyrinth feeling. Yeah, it's something about you're running through the scenarios in your head of what's going to be a closed door, going to be shut down, or a trap, feeling trapped, like the information you're needing to share or wanting to share. Some of you are afraid it's going to come out into the surface, without you being ready to share or communicate what that is. Strength and judgment. Yeah, you're being asked, okay, you're being both major arcana. So whatever this is you're running away from or moving towards, or this heavy conversation you need to have, again, maybe with a mother or a Taurus, you're being asked to use very wise judgment and good strength of character. Do it the right way. Don't do it the easy way. It's easier to sneak off and not have that conversation. It's easy to hide your fears and your emotions. You know, it's easier to not tell your friend that you think their ideas are crap, right? But then there's the strength of character of making a good judgment call. If you're in a partnership or a business relationship with someone and, you know, the creativity has stopped. It's like it's almost like the friendship is constipated. There's no growth. It's like something needs to be added to the scenario. Something needs to be like brought to the table. I'm sort of getting, it's like addressing the elephant in the room. Your person is already feeling this as well. But it's almost like by not just dealing with it directly, you're sinking deeper and deeper into a headspace. Something about, like the labyrinth of your mind, working through all these, like, I have to say it, Pisces, these kind of like crazy ideas of, oh my God, if I say it, they're going to do this or they're going to do that. It's not as bad as you're anticipating. You may be a little bit intimidated by this person. And it's someone you hold in very high regard, and it could be someone who financially has helped you out before. It could be a mother or a father, or it could be someone who directly impacts your income, like your boss, your business partnership. And yes, so it's like you're worried they're going to like snuff out the flame, if that makes sense, of your idea, of your passion, of your creativity. Something about having your tail between your legs, you feel there's a sense of guilt with like confessing or professing the truth to this person. Because there's definitely some sort of bond or partnership that you guys have, and it used to feel like this. It used to feel great. You guys used to go singing and dancing together. But now it's sort of like you understand that you're supposed to go rogue, you're supposed to go individual, you're supposed to break away from this. And again, it's almost like the consequences of dealing with that you'd rather avoid. You'd rather pretend that you're happy, even though on the inside, that's what you're feeling. You are longing for freedom, for adventure, for fun, for growth, spiritual, emotional, right? So that's sort of the energy you're coming into. And there's a lot of heavy cards here. You have the Emperor and you have the Empress. So another, a divine pairing in some capacity, right? You also have Judgment and Strength. An important judgment call, going back to things of the past and needing to close out the cycle peacefully, making peace with the past, sort of digging up what you thought was dead and buried, because really it is sort of offering you, or it is giving you some sort of trigger where you're not able to move on from it. There is very much indecision. Am I going to get caught? Will the truth be seen? Will it bubble up to the surface? With Strength, it's like be the warrior, right? Wounded warrior, but also rule with a gentle heart, right? The anticipation or the fearing of being attacked, vice versa, you or your person or whoever you're dealing with here, there's a way to rule with grace, with strength, so that if there is some sort of conflict or argument, it's like, metaphorically, if you're getting into it with a lion, be very gentle, right? So that lion doesn't, pounce on you, or with its teeth, right? It doesn't sink your teeth into you. There's like a very gentle way to approach it, which this is actually beautiful, where at the end of this all, you're going to laugh it off. It's going to be okay. You'll be able to come together and reconcile the issue, reunite, get that kind of like magic friend energy back. You're going to be able to go out and like dance and celebrate again. But there's like a little like trouble in paradise type thing. And I do think a lot of you are going to go off and explore on your own. Yes, something else is calling you. And I'm going to be real. Some of you are toying with the idea of going to date someone else as well. Someone who lights your fire, someone where there's more passion, very much King of Wands energy. Whether you're male or female, Pisces, it feels like you are headed towards a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, because it's more fun. It offers you some sort of excitement or energy, motivation. But with that, it does feel like you have to put an end to something. And I don't do fear-based readings, but this is important to note. If you choose to go down the path of avoidance, of not speaking your truth, of putting on a false mask or a disguise of how you're really feeling about this person, heads up. because it's not going to end well. That thing I kept saying of will I be caught? Will the information, like, will it bubble up to the surface? Very Piscean, very like fish bubbles I'm getting. It will, and it's going to be a effing disaster. So you're better off to just nip it in the bud, to take care of this like little awkward moment, like 3 and 4. We're very early on in like this awkward thing, right? It feels like it's at a standstill. It's like someone is like in their corner, like watching it go down. Like instead of like being a passive bystander, it's like take action forward to go and nip it in the bud. The longer you stay in this indecision, the more it's going to eat away at you. Again, circling around the labyrinth of your mind. There is absolutely a temptation to go the easy route and to sneak away. Again, be real careful with that. Really careful. Particularly if that does involve a romantic relationship where the passion is gone, rather than just coming forward and saying, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. If you're sneaking off to go do some side stuff, especially with a fire sign, like fire is light, it illuminates, you are not going to be in the clear for very long. It's like this, even like the metaphor of being in the dark, the lightning bolt comes down, which is fire. It's light, right? And it's going to illuminate the entire tower and it's going to come crashing down. So again, it's sort of funny. Like, so yeah, again, I don't like to do fear-based readings, but if you think you're being real slick and clandestine, Pisces, you're not. Like, don't do that. Spirit knows what's up, and you know what's up internally. You're a water sign. You are extremely intuitive, extremely psychic. If you think your person is sensing that magic you used to have, that rhythm, that singing, that dancing, that just really beautiful bond, if you feel like you've lost the spark and you think they know it too, they do. It's better to just, like, again, address the elephant in the room. I just heard address the Aries in the room. So it might be an Aries you're dealing with. All right, so let's look into your challenge or your focus. Release and relax. Yeah, I am almost getting there's an element of this relationship that you're currently in, and it might be career-wise. It's constipated. Nothing is coming out. It's like you're clenching. This is such a gross metaphor. I'm sorry. Maybe some of you are literally constipated. Something about like the release, it's setting you free. This is a weird story that's coming through about constipation, but yeah. It's something about, again, the anticipation, fearing you're going to be attacked, facing the repercussions of speaking your truth, that emotionally you're done here, there's nothing left here for you. I think you're afraid you're going to be attacked, and I just keep getting you're not. Once this conversation comes to the surface, you'll laugh it off. There will be some sort of acknowledgement that, yeah, you are meant to go and create something else on your own. And this doesn't even have to indicate a severing, a divorce, a breakup, if you will. Because ultimately, this is a very solid relationship. The Emperor and the Empress don't get into a marriage and then, 2 months in, like, decide to throw in the towel. There's something that you guys meant for a very spiritual, important reason. This is like it's not even a karmic partnership in terms of like, walking away with, this trauma, but learning from your wisdom. This person offered you something beautiful in your life. Like the mark that they've left on your life, overall, it's very positive. This doesn't feel like someone who did you dirty. I'm just not getting that. But there is a need to set something free, to break free from something. To open new doors. I'm going to see if I can get through this without coughing. There's a new door you're being asked to open on your spiritual path. There's a new cycle that is trying to usher things into you. It's trying to welcome you in, especially if you're considering going to some sort of career in service, the service industry. You might actually, it could be like literally in the service. Like Marines or Army or military, something like that. I just lost it. Service. Something about service dogs or, yeah, I mean, that's a very broad term, providing a service. Something came and now I just lost it. I'm so sorry, you guys. Service. Anyway. Something new, it's like you're being asked to walk through this door. It's interesting. It's almost like these are your tools. They lie ahead of you, but you have to get to them. There's some sort of obstacle, some sort of maze you have to walk through to get to your new beginning, to get to your new aces. And that's what this is too. Going off to travel and discover your new passions. Because some of you don't know exactly what it is you want to pursue. Or again, something about working in this team, this partnership. It started to get off the ground, but then you realized you were supposed to go at it individually. So that's sort of what it seems like you're headed towards, especially with the Fool. Once you are able to ease the troubled relationship with your emperor or your empress, whichever one you are, then that is like the obstacle that opens a doorway. And it does have to do with stepping into your power, coming into your power and not being afraid of other people's reaction to your truth. Again, there's always a nice way or a kind way of doing something, even if you are severing a tie. Rather than avoiding the inevitable, this is sort of a test from spirit to be like, do you have the strength? Do you have the strength to call somebody out on their bullshit, or to call somebody out or to call even out the situation, let's call a spade a spade. Let's point out the elephant in the room, make a judgment call out of strength of, hey, this isn't working anymore. Do we want to fix it? Do we want to mix up the ingredients? How do we get the passion back? For a lot of you, it does involve an exit. I heard exit cue. Maybe, I don't know if that's something about being on stage, theater, something about your exit cue. I don't know what that is. Anyway, starting in this new direction, it actually opens doors for you towards whatever career you want to go towards. Some of you are trying to get out of a relationship where you feel like you're doing the brunt of the work. You're doing all the hard labor. And something about, again, acknowledging your pain points, the pressure points of this relationship, literally relaxes. Some of you are acupuncturists. Something with that, it sets you free. There's an emotional release. There's a physical release. That sounds very sexual, actually. By releasing something from inside of you and getting it up and out, addressing, again, the elephant in the room, something that needs to be addressed between either you and another person. It could be your mother and your father, or maybe a friends group. From that, I just want to say it results in peace. Peace being established for you to go off on your next spiritual, I was going to say adventure, but yeah. With the Page of Wands, adventure, sure. Spiritual journey, spiritual adventure. It allows you to ascend higher as a person. Yeah, it's your ascension process. You are in the process of becoming a more enlightened individual and human being. All right. But yeah, your challenge is to actually say what you need to say. Like that Sarah Bareilles song. I just keep getting the metaphor of constipation. I don't think it's literal for most of you, but it is giving you this internal fear and anxiety, that labyrinth of not doing or saying what needs to come out. So yeah, your challenge or focus is that. How do you get it out to the surface? And then also some of you are thinking, how do I get out of this unscathed or untainted? You want to keep that white rose pure and innocent and yeah, untainted. But by expressing your emotional truth from a place of love, the rose will be fine. The relationship, it can still be intact if you want it to be. You're not going to ruin it. Something about throwing it into the fire, it's going to be okay. It's meant to ease your mind, release, relax, take a vacation. I don't know. I'm just kidding. All right. So what is the help available to my Pisces? The King of Swords. So yeah, conversations, having important discussions where you speak your truth and stand your ground too. Something about not being a doormat or not being, and that's what this is saying too, not being that person who carries the brunt of responsibility or has to shoulder the weight of everything. I think you are disconnecting from something where, yeah, you're getting exhausted waiting for change. It's you need to go out and make it happen. You need to fight for it. That is your weapon, right? But it also has to do with making executive decisions, very informed but reasonable, fair, just decisions, and not wavering from it, not letting people talk you out of it, not letting people talk over you. because you are coming at it with emotional intelligence. It's interesting what trumps, this is your suit, right? The cups, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. So it may involve you and an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This does, two kings indicates to me a power struggle of some kind. Someone who is much more logical and with reason, data, analytics, analysis, versus someone who is much more creative and spiritually in tune. Very likely you, Pisces. It's like you understand what your vendors need, your audience, your, those wanting your product or your business or whatever that is. Emotionally, you just kind of know. You're just kind of informed in that way, but your person may come at it from like, the books. Something about like very rigid structures or very rigid ideas or ways of thinking. There needs to be a meeting of the mind and like a peaceful coexistence here. But for you, Pisces, it's almost not letting your emotions get the best of you, because what's happening is because you're so worried about hurting this person and making them feel wounded, making them feel sad, depressed, hurt. It's almost like as long as you're coming at it from some sort of emotional truth, your weapon isn't going to hurt them, as long as it's like using your words with good intent, being very emotionally aware of how this is going to land. Ultimately, though, the sword trumps the cup. The thought trumps the heart. And also, this is the king who severs, who cuts, right? Making informed decisions that are fair and just, right? Gemini, Libra. Libra is all about the scales. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And this is a timestamp, too, in Aquarius season. So that's going to be into, let's see, mid-February-ish. That's when this decision or this discussion needs to take place. And maybe it's with another water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. It might be. But yeah, you need to get yourself out of this mental conflict. This idea of worrying about how your words are going to land, or what, this conversation that needs to be had. It's weighing on you mentally, and you're letting your dark thoughts overpower you. I said something similar to Scorpio, understanding what thoughts are helpful to you at this point and what are not, what is not. Letting, again, projecting into the future about fears and anxieties of, well, if I tell this person the truth, that's going to end our friendship. That's going to end our marriage. Not if that's not what you don't want. This is saying you're waiting for some sort of clarity on how to approach this, when in reality, you already know. Approach it in a gentle but honest way, the way a child would. A child always speaks their truth. They don't have that filter that we get as adults. It comes from a pure, innocent heart space. But, if you're feeding them something they don't like it, they're going to go, no, I don't want it. It's something like that. Tap into like that childlike energy. But again, there's always a kind way of doing it. Kids don't do things maliciously, usually. That's a learned behavior if they do, right? But they know what they want and they know what they don't want. It's almost like dumbing it down to the bare bones, to the bare basics. And maybe this relationship, there is a child involved, particularly a water sign child, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. And it also has to do with you, Pisces, aligning to your inner child, what it is that makes you happy. Something in this relationship clearly doesn't. So finding out what that is, and then again, what does excite you? What do you love? What do you want to go after? It's time to start anew and really invest more time in getting the cups that you do like, right? Getting things or people or jobs or something in alignment with what makes you happy, what makes you want to sing and dance. These are very, very like soulful, empowered, like joyous cards. I think that's what you want. It's what you're looking at, but it's almost like you're looking at this staircase of how the path to getting it, you're almost too overwhelmed to even go there. Because again, something about breaking down a barrier, you're being asked spiritually to step up and go through some sort of awkward situation with someone or a group of people. That will open a door for you. And just keep getting it. It's like a test. You're going to be like Rocky Balboa running up the staircase if you could just get past that guard that scares the shit out of you. Do you understand what I'm saying in metaphor here? Yeah, you need to stop worrying and letting your fear and intimidation rule your actions or lack of action forward. Make really important, informed decisions on what it is you want, what it is you love, what brings you joy. And if it's freedom that you seek, go chase that freedom. Empower yourself to fight for what it is that you want. You have the higher ground. Spirit's got you. It seems like you got 6 people or 6 obstacles coming at you, right? But you have the higher ground. Tell yourself that. This is a card of very much self-motivation, being your own hero, being your own cheerleader. Being trapped in your thoughts is no longer the story you're writing. It's time to take off the blindfold, deal with that difficult person or that difficult situation, and ultimately sidestep these negative thoughts you're having. They're pointed down, right? They're negative thoughts. They're holding you back. It's a self-imprisonment. It's a self-imprisonment card. If you were to take off the blindfold and recognize it's almost like the fear of what could be has scared you so much that it's sort of overtaken the way you're envisioning this conversation happening or going down. It's way worse in your head. That's what I'm trying to say. It's way worse in your head. So yeah, I understand there's a desire to flee and ghost this person and not deal with it in a higher vibrational way. This is asking you to do just the opposite. Do it in a way where it's a clean break. It's a clean cut. There's no extra baggage or unsettled feelings after you have this conversation. Say what you need to say and then be done with it, right? Again, it's not like this push and pull of emotions. Well, I love them and I don't want to hurt them, and so I shouldn't say it and this and that. Nope. Like what's trumping it is like a clean break. Say what you need to say and be done with it. There's no need for mental head games or retaliation or worrying about the repercussions. Like making informed decisions because you're a badass, right? That's the help available to you. Look through the situation, look through the circle of swords. It's clouding your judgment. Again, this is not a impenetrable wall. It's not a brick wall. It's these tiny little thin swords. You could probably just push them out of the way, right? This is acknowledging that you do not currently have power over your thoughts. You are letting your thoughts overpower you, and that's an unhealthy way of living your life, really. You're in such like lack mentality or fear, not thinking you can do it, that it's going to be such a struggle and that you'll be alone, that you'll be abandoned, that this or that could happen. Again, all these what ifs, they're not helping you. You need to take control of your thoughts. You need to fight for the power back, right? And maybe that has to do with a relationship. Maybe somewhere along the line you lost your voice, you lost your power. You thought people were making executive decisions for you. It's like someone was like butting in on the game and playing your chess piece. It's time for you to step back in and be like, no, that's mine. Like, it's my turn to speak. Like, listen, the King of Swords commands a room, right? Yeah, an important message that needs to be sent to someone or multiple people, right? Something about in the written document of maybe some sort of agreement you guys signed on or signed on the dotted line. You may actually decide that you need to course correct. You may actually decide that what you signed away your life, signed away your name to, what you agreed upon, there's actually change and like a fluctuation is what I'm getting here. Some of you are giving your resignation to a job and you're doing it in like a strongly worded email. That's really funny. Yeah. Using your words, knowing that your words are powerful. And something, I've said this to a lot of people, the wounded warrior, understanding that your wounds, the difficulties and disappointments that you face in your life are actually your wisdom. Your wounds are your wisdom because they are empowering you on how to move forward and break free from kind of like this victim mentality, this woe is me, understanding that these really difficult lessons and fears that you're being forced to overcome, it is positively contributing to almost like the building of you. The building of the new Pisces, or again, ascending higher in your spiritual path and journey. Lessons are a huge part of that. Even the ones that are uncomfortable, even the ones that we maybe didn't want to learn, but recognize the value in learning those lessons. It's empowering you to move forward and to not be a prisoner of your own fears. You're so much involved in the what ifs. What if this happens? What if I can't do that? What if they don't like me? Again, those thoughts aren't serving you. There's no point in holding on to those thoughts because it's keeping you stuck in your development and your progress. Mental conflict, mental head games. How do you get yourself out of here? You got to be your own hero. I lost it. Where's my 7 of Wands, man? I don't know what I did with him. Seven of Wands. What did I do with him? Anyway, you have the higher ground card. That's what I was getting at here. You have to be your own hero. You have to know internally that you can do it. You have to be your own cheerleader, giving yourself the encouragement that I can do this and I do have the higher ground. That's going to be important for you. It's all about your mindset. Because honestly, what's been holding you back from all this is your own thoughts. That's very clear in the spread. So maybe you have very heavy air in your chart, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, very much cards of indecision, contemplation, not knowing how to move forward. It's like you'd rather hold these heavy swords upright and deflect or guard yourself or avoid a conversation. And it's almost again to your own demise. It's like, these swords are heavy. Can we just put them down? Can we just put them down? Can we just get out of here and like move forward? I'm rooting for you, Pisces. All right, final advice or guidance. Think about it. Don't act in haste. Again, there's a nice way to go about everything, but that doesn't mean that you should avoid it. That doesn't mean that you should, hide your feelings or deflect or avoid whatever you're fearing is coming. It's better to just like go forth and deal with it rather than letting it pile up and then the tower's going to come down anyway. Just keep getting, it's inevitable. So why are you putting this off? It's time to free yourself, maybe from this person. Maybe this is all about a divorce, right? By holding on to it, as I was saying with this, you're causing more anxiety for yourself. And yeah, it's like you're shouldering all these extra burdens, all this extra weight you don't need to carry around anymore. You're being protective of somebody's heart, but the major red flag of that whole thing is that it's not your heart, though. It's like you're trying to save the world, or you're trying to nurture and coddle someone, but like they're a full-grown adult. Like you don't need to be that person. As a Pisces, there's something very sweet and delightful about your disposition. You're very charismatic. People like you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fear and intimidation when it comes to having to confront someone that's giving you, that's like looking down on you, someone who's making you feel less than, or just understanding that you've grown out of this relationship. Having this very serious conversation, it's scaring the shit out of you, Pisces. It's time to set yourself free. With this card, it's like he can't accept any new blessings because his arms are so tied up in whatever it is he's doing. But with fours, it's a comfort zone. It's like a card of being in like a safe environment. But again, with no risk, no reward. It's like at one point in time, the cups were filled and there was love flowing, and this was like beneficial to you emotionally, but it's not anymore. You're complacent, you're bored, you're depressed, you're off dreaming of the next romantic partnership or the next big job. So why aren't you making strides to move towards it? There's victory in order here. Like there is victory down the road, but it's like you have to set yourself free and choose to go after it. To have that heavy conversation, to make those important executive decisions. This very much speaks to me about a divine pairing, Emperor and Empress. King and queen of the same suit, right? Particularly in careers, major careers, especially if you involve careers involving writing, public speaking, like communal church type preaching to people. Something about the written word or the spoken word might be very important in It's funny, the written word or the spoken word might be very important in what you do professionally, but when it comes to your love relationship, it's like that's your weakest point, and yet it's a skill set you already have. So yeah, this is saying to me, like, you got this. It's what do they say? It's like an ace in the hole, or it's an ace in the hand, or it's almost an already established victory if you could just get out of your own way, Pisces. And I know that's a little bit harsh. This reading has been very much tough love, but yeah, by avoiding it, by putting it off, it's going to be worse. Nip it in the bud. Think about it. And then sudden wealth. Yeah, okay, so that metaphor of the constipation, I'm sorry I keep looping back to this. It's almost like once you release and let go, right? You get what I'm getting at here. But also there's either good income attached to it, or something like the cup flows again. The idea of it being a tapped resource, an empty well, emotionally void, which is what the Four of Cups is. You get the spark back. The value in which you once had in this relationship, the energy, the love, the passion, that comes back. This relationship has a richness to it again. And maybe it involves getting like a lump sum of money. I don't know what, maybe if it is a divorce case, right? For some of you. Yeah, something about good fortune comes from finally letting go and speaking your truth. Because I think you've thought about it all you can. It's like it's clouded your judgment. You've thought about it to the point where it's past its expiration date. It's past its due date. It's time to liberate yourself, to set yourself free. There he is. I was looking for him earlier. You do got this, Pisces. You do have the higher ground. Spirit is looking out for you. It's like Spirit is telling you that it is safe. You don't need to fear this. Relax, actually. I want to put that next to your Eight of Swords. What you are anticipating, it is so much less burdensome. It is so much less scary than what you're telling yourself it's going to be. This may involve a soulmate too, number 11, or a Libra for that matter, like the Justice card. And that also says to me the results, the victory, it will be just. Everyone is going to get what they deserve or what they want from this relationship. It's just, again, it's addressing the elephant in the room. The elephant being the Tower. It's like something's on fire, but no one has the you-know-whats to be like, oh my God, we should put it out. Like, it's having a difficult conversation. There will be reward in it. Again, I keep being reminded you're going to laugh this off. You're going to get your rhythm back with this person, or they're going to set you free and like throw you a party to wish you well on your next journey, to say goodbye, to give you a hug, to wish you well. This doesn't feel like a relationship where it was constantly like an abusive one. I'm not getting that. It just feels like you plateaued and now it's time to like either reinvigorate it or come to like a mutual agreement. Yeah, let's try for some time apart and see if we're happier. Like that kind of energy. It feels like it's going to be okay. Nurture what that inner child wants. Very much so. All right, Pisces, that's what I got for you. Please do like, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if this video resonates for you, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye.